Good evening. Welcome back to Starlight News Network, where we gather together to celebrate the lives of those extraordinary souls who touched our hearts, shaped our dreams, and reminded us of the very best of what it means to be human. I am so grateful you have chosen to spend these quiet moments with us tonight. And I must tell you, dear friends, that the story we are about to share is one that has stayed with me for many, many years. It is a story of transformation, of quiet courage, and of a love so profound that it transcended the silver screen and reached into the very heart of humanity itself. Before we begin this journey together, I want to ask you something personal, something that connects us all through the magic of memory. They called her the most elegant woman in the world. Which of her iconic looks or films is your favorite? Was it the little black dress and pearls from that unforgettable morning on Fifth Avenue? Perhaps it was the graceful princess discovering Rome on the back of a Vespa, her eyes sparkling with mischief and wonder. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the flower girl from the streets of London who learned to speak like a duchess and captured the heart of a stubborn professor along the way. Whatever moment first made you fall in love with this remarkable woman, I would be honored if you would share it in the comments below. Let us build a tapestry of memories together, a tribute worthy of the legend we are about to remember. Now, let us begin. Picture, if you will, the golden age of Hollywood. The year is 1961, and the world is absolutely enchanted by a woman whose very presence seemed to redefine what beauty could mean. She was not like the others, you see. She did not possess the voluptuous curves that were fashionable at the time, nor did she play the roles of the smoldering seductress or the damsel waiting to be rescued. No, she was something entirely different, something the world had never quite seen before, and something it would never forget. Her name was Audrey Hepburn, and she moved through life like a poem written in motion. In those days, the studios of Rome and Paris were her kingdoms. She would arrive on set each morning, and the entire crew would pause, just for a moment, to watch her walk through the doors. It was not because they were required to show deference to a star. It was because they simply could not help themselves. There was something about the way she carried herself, something in the gentle curve of her smile and the luminous depth of her dark eyes that commanded attention without ever demanding it. She was grace personified, elegance made flesh and blood. The designers of the world's most prestigious fashion houses would send her their finest creations, hoping, praying that she might choose to wear them to a premiere or a party. And when she did, those garments became legendary. She did not merely wear clothes, dear friends. She transformed them into works of art. A simple black dress became an icon. A strand of pearls became a symbol of sophisticated beauty. A wide-brimmed hat became the very definition of style. Whatever she touched turned to gold, and the world could not get enough of her. The film sets where she worked were palaces of creativity and luxury. Imagine, if you can, the golden streets of Rome reconstructed with painstaking detail inside vast studio sound stages. Crystal chandeliers hung from ceilings painted to look like Renaissance masterpieces. Crews of hundreds worked tirelessly to create worlds of fantasy and romance, all designed to showcase her unique magic. The catering tables overflowed with delicacies from around the world. The dressing rooms were filled with fresh flowers, delivered daily, their fragrance mingling with the expensive perfumes that lingered in the air. Directors would plan their shots around her face, spending hours adjusting the lighting until it fell upon her features in exactly the right way. Cinematographers spoke of her bone structure in hushed, reverent tones, calling it a gift from the angels themselves. Her co-stars, many of them legends in their own right, would later admit in interviews that they often forgot their lines simply because they were too captivated by watching her work. And the parties, oh, the parties. After the long days of filming were complete, The stars would gather in the grand hotels and private estates of Europe's most glamorous cities. Champagne flowed like water. The women wore diamonds that sparkled like captured stars, and the men wore tuxedos cut by master tailors who had dressed royalty for generations. Orchestras played waltzes, and the beautiful people danced until dawn, living lives that seemed too magical to be real. Audrey moved through these glittering evenings with the same quiet grace she brought to everything. She would smile and laugh and charm everyone she met, but there was always something in her eyes, something deeper, something that suggested she was looking beyond the champagne glasses and the designer gowns toward something the others could not quite see. The expectations placed upon her were enormous, almost crushing in their weight. The studios wanted more films, more premieres, more photographs for the magazines. The fashion houses wanted her to be seen in their latest creations at every possible occasion. The press wanted interviews, quotes, glimpses into her private life. The public wanted her to remain forever young, forever beautiful, forever the princess they had fallen in love with on that Roman holiday so many years before. She was in every measurable way at the absolute pinnacle of fame. She had won the highest honors her profession could bestow. She had been photographed by the greatest artists of the lens. She had danced with princes and dined with presidents. The world lay at her feet, glittering and golden, offering her anything and everything she could ever desire. And yet something was stirring in the heart of Audrey Hepburn, something that all the diamonds in the world could not satisfy, something that no standing ovation could fulfill. She had seen things in her life, you see, things that had planted seeds of compassion so deep within her soul that they could never be uprooted. She understood, in a way that many who had lived easier lives could not, that the glitter of fame was beautiful, but ultimately hollow if it served no purpose greater than itself. The decision, when it came, was made quietly, as all of her most important decisions were. There were no dramatic announcements, no press conferences, no carefully orchestrated publicity campaigns. She simply began to say no. No to the scripts that arrived by the dozens each week. No to the magazine covers and the product endorsements and the endless requests for her time and her face and her name. She was stepping away from the spotlight that had defined her life for so many years, and she was doing it for a reason that few in Hollywood could understand. She had heard the call of something greater, and she was answering it with every fiber of her being. The organization was called UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, and its mission was as simple as it was profound: to help the children of the world who were suffering from poverty, hunger, and lack of opportunity. When they approached Audrey about becoming a Goodwill Ambassador, she did not hesitate. She did not ask about the compensation or the accommodations or the impact on her career. She simply said yes, and in doing so, she set herself upon a path that would become the defining journey of her extraordinary life. Her first trip took her to a place so different from the movie studios of Rome and Paris that it might as well have been another planet entirely. The airplane descended through clouds of red dust, and through the small window, she could see a landscape that stretched endlessly toward the horizon, brown and parched and utterly unfamiliar. The heat, when she stepped off the plane, was like nothing she had ever experienced. It wrapped around her like a heavy blanket, pressing against her skin, making every breath feel like an effort. Gone were the designer gowns and the perfectly coiffed hair. In their place, she wore simple linen clothing, practical and modest, the kind of garments that could withstand the dust and the heat and the demands of long days spent walking through villages that had never seen a movie star before. She wrapped a simple cotton scarf around her head to protect herself from the relentless sun, and she traded her elegant heels for sturdy walking shoes that would carry her across unpaved roads and through fields of struggling crops. The contrast was almost impossible to comprehend. Just weeks before, she had been surrounded by the finest luxuries the world could offer. Now she was walking through communities where clean water was a precious commodity, where families lived in homes made of whatever materials they could find, where children went to sleep hungry more nights than not. The champagne and the chandeliers seemed like distant memories, dreams from another lifetime, as she made her way through landscapes that bore witness to struggles most people in the comfortable West could scarcely imagine. But here is what made Audrey Hepburn different from so many other celebrities who have lent their names to worthy causes. She did not come to these places to be photographed looking concerned. She did not come to make a brief appearance, shake a few hands, and then retreat to a comfortable hotel. She came to truly see, to truly listen, to truly understand. She came to bear witness, and in doing so, to amplify the voices of those who had been overlooked and forgotten
by a world too busy with its own concerns to notice their suffering. She would wake before dawn each day, forgoing the luxuries that had once been her constant companions. There were no assistants to bring her morning coffee, no makeup artists to prepare her for the cameras. She would wash her face with whatever water was available, pull on her simple clothes, and set out to meet the people she had come to serve. And serve she did, in ways both large and small, in ways that often went unrecorded by the journalists who accompanied her on these journeys. There is one story, one moment that captures the essence of who Audrey Hepburn truly was when the cameras were not rolling, when the world was not watching, when she was simply a woman with a heart full of love, meeting children with spirits full of hope. It happened in a small village, so remote that it did not appear on most maps, a cluster of simple homes surrounded by land that had been touched by hardship but not defeated by it. The villagers had been told that an important visitor was coming, someone from the world of international organizations that sometimes sent help their way, but they had no idea who she was or why she had traveled so far to reach them. Audrey arrived in a cloud of dust, stepping out of a battered vehicle that had carried her over roads that barely deserved the name. She was tired. Anyone could see that. The journey had been long and difficult, and the heat had taken its toll. But as she looked around at the faces gathering to meet her, something in her expression shifted. The weariness fell away, replaced by a warmth so genuine that it seemed to change the very atmosphere of the place. The children, naturally curious as children everywhere are, began to edge closer to this strange visitor with the gentle face and the kind eyes. They had never seen anyone quite like her before. Her skin was lighter than theirs, her clothes different from anything they had encountered, and yet there was something about her that told them they had nothing to fear from this woman. She was safe. She was good. She was, somehow, one of them. One little girl, no more than 5 or 6 years old, was bolder than the rest. While the other children hung back, watching with wide eyes, this tiny child walked directly up to Audrey and reached out to touch the soft fabric of her linen shirt. It was an innocent gesture, born of simple curiosity, but what happened next was something that no Hollywood script could have written. Audrey did not recoil or look to her handlers for guidance on how to respond. She did not maintain the careful distance that famous people often keep between themselves and the public. Instead, she did the most natural thing in the world, the thing that revealed the true nature of her heart. She knelt down in the dust, bringing herself to the child's level, and she opened her arms. The little girl stepped into that embrace without hesitation, as if she had been waiting her whole short life for exactly this moment. And Audrey held her, simply held her, while the dust swirled around them and the African sun beat down upon their joined forms. She held her the way a mother holds a child, the way safety holds fear, the way love holds loneliness. Minutes passed. The other children, seeing that this visitor was welcoming and warm, began to approach as well. Soon, Audrey was surrounded by a small sea of young faces, each one reaching out to touch her, to connect with this woman who had come from so far away just to see them. She learned their names, or tried to, laughing at her own mispronunciations and delighting in their laughter at her attempts. She asked about their lives, their families, their dreams, using the translators who accompanied her, but also communicating in that universal language of kindness that needs no words. Later that day, she shared a meal with the village, a simple dish of grains and vegetables that was the best they had to offer. She ate it with evident enjoyment, refusing the special provisions that had been brought along for her, insisting on experiencing exactly what the people she had come to help experienced every day. The village elders watched in amazement as this woman, who they would later learn was one of the most famous people in the entire world, sat on the ground with their children and ate from a communal bowl as if it were the most natural thing imaginable. And perhaps for her, it was. That first trip was followed by many others, journeys that took her to corners of the world that most people will never see, places where hope was sometimes the only currency that mattered, where the simple presence of someone who cared could make all the difference in the world. She traveled to the dusty plains of Ethiopia and the crowded camps of Bangladesh. She visited children in Central America and families in Southeast Asia. She went wherever the need was greatest, wherever her voice could be used to draw attention to suffering that might otherwise go unnoticed. And on each journey, she was transformed a little more. The woman who returned from these trips was different from the woman who had left, not diminished, but rather enlarged, her capacity for compassion growing with each child she held, each story she heard, each injustice she witnessed. She often spoke about how these experiences changed her, how they gave her life a meaning and purpose that all her years of fame had never quite provided. She did this work not for recognition, though recognition came anyway. She did it not for the photographs, though photographs were taken and published around the world. She did it because she had discovered a simple truth that eluded so many of her fellow celebrities, that the gifts we are given, whether beauty or talent or fame, are not meant to be hoarded but shared, not meant to elevate ourselves but to lift up others. In the quiet moments between her official duties, away from the cameras and the reporters, Audrey would often sit with individual children, just being present with them, offering the gift of her undivided attention. She would hold their small hands in hers, marveling at the resilience she found in those tiny fingers, drawing strength from their spirits as she hoped to give strength to their futures. She would tell them stories sometimes, tales of faraway places where dreams could come true, and she would listen to their stories in return, treating each child's words as precious gifts. The people she met on these journeys never forgot her. Years later, decades later, they would speak of the elegant lady who came to their village or their camp, the one with the sad eyes and the warm smile who knelt in the dust to embrace their children. They did not always remember her name, and many had never seen her films, but they remembered her kindness, which was, in the end, far more important than any screen credit could ever be. As the years passed, Audrey's commitment to this work only deepened. She became a tireless advocate for the world's most vulnerable children, using every platform available to her to raise awareness and funds for the cause she had embraced so completely. She testified before governmental bodies, her quiet eloquence moving hardened politicians to action. She gave interviews, not about her films or her fashion choices, but about the children she had met and the help they so desperately needed. She lent her name, her face, and her voice to a cause that had become the great passion of her life. And she did all of this, it must be said, without any expectation of personal reward. The glamorous life she had once known, the parties and the premieres and the constant attention of the world's media held no appeal to her anymore. She had found something more valuable than fame, more satisfying than applause, more beautiful than any designer gown. She had found purpose. Now, dear friends, as we reach this part of our story, I must ask you to take a moment with me. Let us sit together and consider who we have learned about this remarkable woman. Let us sit with the truth of who she really was, beyond the beautiful face and the elegant clothes and the unforgettable film roles. Audrey Hepburn played many parts during her time in the spotlight. She was the princess discovering freedom and love in Rome. She was the sophisticated party girl searching for a life of meaning on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. She was the nun struggling with her calling, the blind woman fighting for survival, the funny face transformed by fashion and love. Each of these roles showcased her considerable talents and contributed to her legendary status in the history of cinema. But her final role, the role she chose for herself after the camera stopped rolling on her film career, was the most important of all. It was not a role that required memorizing lines or hitting marks on a studio floor. It required something much more demanding. It required her heart, her time, her energy, and ultimately
every ounce of the courage and compassion she possessed. In this final role, she was simply herself, but herself elevated to the highest expression of human goodness. She was a witness to suffering and a beacon of hope. She was a voice for the voiceless and a friend to the forgotten. She was proof that true beauty has nothing to do with bone structure or designer clothing, and everything to do with how we choose to treat the most vulnerable among us. The fashion magazines had spent decades analyzing her style, trying to decode the secret of her elegance, attempting to bottle whatever it was that made her so uniquely captivating. They spoke of her posture and her proportions, her clothing choices and her hairstyles, her makeup techniques and her accessory selections. They filled countless pages with these superficial observations, never quite grasping the truth that was right before their eyes. Her beauty, her real beauty, came from within. It flowed from a heart that had chosen love over indifference, service over self-interest, compassion over comfort. It radiated from a soul that understood in the deepest possible way that we are all connected, that the suffering of a child half a world away is our suffering too, that the boundaries we draw between ourselves and others are illusions that only love can dissolve. When people who knew her well are asked about her legacy, they rarely speak first of her films or her fashion. They speak of her kindness, her generosity, her genuine interest in every person she met. They speak of the way she remembered names and asked about families, the way she listened with her whole being, the way she made everyone feel valued and seen. They speak, in other words, of the qualities that truly matter, the qualities that endure long after the credits have rolled and the applause has faded into silence. Audrey Hepburn showed the world that fame, that strange and often poisonous gift, can be transformed into something sacred when it is used in service of others. She demonstrated that celebrity, which so often corrupts and diminishes those who possess it, can instead be a tool for profound good. She proved, through her actions rather than her words, that the most elegant choice a person can make is the choice to care. And so we remember her tonight, not as the most beautiful woman in the world, though she certainly was that, and not as one of the greatest actresses of her generation, though she was that too. We remember her as something far more important,
something far more rare. We remember her as a human being who used everything she had been given, every gift and every opportunity, in service of the highest good she could imagine. We remember her as a woman who chose humanity when she could have chosen comfort, who chose purpose when she could have chosen pleasure, who chose the dusty roads and the hungry children when she could have chosen the red carpets and the champagne toasts. We remember her, dear friends, as the star who proved that true elegance is not about what you wear, but about how you love. As I reflect on this beautiful life tonight, I find myself thinking about the choices we all face, the daily decisions that define who we are and what we stand for. Most of us will never know the particular pressures and temptations of fame, the constant scrutiny and the endless opportunities for self-aggrandizement that celebrities must navigate. But all of us, in our own ways, face similar choices. Will we use our gifts, whatever they may be, in service of ourselves alone, or will we offer them to the world? Will we stay comfortable in our familiar surroundings, or will we venture out to places where our presence might make a difference? Will we hold on to what we have, fearful of losing it, or will we open our hands and discover that giving multiplies rather than diminishes our blessings? Audrey's life offers us answers to these questions, answers written not in words, but in deeds, not in theories, but in the countless small acts of love that defined her final years. And so I want to ask you something tonight, something that I hope will linger with you after this broadcast ends and you return to the familiar rhythms of your life. Audrey proved that fame can be used for good. She showed that celebrity, that double-edged sword, can become a powerful force for positive change when wielded by a person of genuine compassion and commitment. Her example continues to inspire decades after her work began, reminding us that each of us has the power to make a difference in the lives of others. If you were a movie star today, what charity would be your main focus? Think about it for a moment. Consider the causes that move your heart, the injustices that stir your spirit, the needs that you cannot ignore. Is it the children, as it was for Audrey, those innocent souls who depend upon the adults around them to provide safety and opportunity? Is it the environment, the precious planet we all share and must protect for future generations? Is it the elderly, who have given so much and deserve dignity and care in their final years? Is it veterans, animals, education, healthcare, the homeless, the hungry, the lost, and the lonely? Whatever cause speaks to your heart, I invite you to share it in the comments. Let us learn from one another. Let us inspire one another. Let us carry forward the legacy of a woman who showed us that purpose can be found in service, and that the most beautiful life is one lived for others. As we come to the close of our time together this evening, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey through the life of a truly remarkable woman. Audrey Hepburn left us a legacy that extends far beyond the frames of the films she made, far beyond the photographs that captured her timeless elegance. She left us an example of how to live, how to love, and how to use whatever gifts we have been given in service of a suffering world. May her memory continue to inspire us, may her example continue to challenge us, and may we all find, in our own ways, the courage to choose humanity as she did, to trade whatever small glamours our lives offer for the deeper rewards of compassion and service. Thank you for spending this evening with us here at Starlight News Network. Your presence means more than you know, and your memories of these legendary figures help keep their spirits alive for future generations. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with the kind of beauty that matters most, the beauty of kindness, the elegance of compassion, the grace of a life well lived. This has been a special tribute presentation of Starlight News Network. Next time, we will turn our attention to another towering figure of the Golden Age, a man whose very name conjures images of courage, integrity, and the enduring spirit of the American West. He was the Duke, the cowboy, the embodiment of a certain kind of American heroism that shaped the dreams of generations. John Wayne will be our honored guest when next we gather, and I do hope you will join me for that journey into the life of a true legend. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.